the HR lady who I had become friends with, she was really sad and disappointed that she had to lay me off. And I was like...
To anyone working in the film industry, Sujata, if they had to put a time limit on becoming a working professional, what would that be?
Never put a time limit on art, I would say. Because I have found throughout my years, there have been a lot of my friends and acquaintances that I've been in touch with or met in acting class or through writing. And anyone who puts a time limit on it, such as, if I don't do this thing within a year, or if I don't do this particular goal within 2 or 3 years, then I'm going to go back to XYZ, which could be anything, which could be, in my case, I have an engineering degree. So if I were to say that, okay, I need to get to direct a studio film within 5 years, or else I'm going to go back to engineering. I feel like the universe hears that and listens to that and says, okay, you have this backup plan, so it won't give you that first thing that you want. And I just think everybody says this, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I've noticed that, there are goals that I hope to have wished to achieve by this point, which I haven't achieved, but I'm enjoying the journey. And the journey has been so much fun. So it's all about waking up in the morning, being excited that you actually get to pursue your dream, and enjoying the moment that you're in, whether it's, oh, you get to go pitch to a certain executive or studio or network today, or whether it's you get to go have coffee with a certain writer that you are inspired by. And just taking those little experiences and making that exciting and making that a goal, as opposed to, I need to sell a show by this date, or I need to be a series regular by this date. So I truly believe you can't put a time limit on your dreams.
When you were getting that engineering degree, was that your plan A at the time?
No, that was always my plan B. So I'll take it back to my childhood, where I was always dancing, singing, writing, acting, but I was also really good at math and science. It came easy to me. And when I entered middle school, I started doing plays. When I entered high school, I started doing musicals, and I was always dancing every week. And my parents were very supportive, and they would come to Guys and Dolls every night and bring a bouquet of flowers and cheer for me. And it was always really exciting. But then I was also taking AP Physics, AP Bio, AP Chem, AP Calculus, and killing it on those exams as well. So my master plan, I started thinking about when I was about 16 or 17, and I said to myself, okay, I can't move to Hollywood at the age of 17. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go get this engineering degree and take it from there, and then move out to LA after I graduate. And so I went to get my engineering degree, and in the meantime continued to do plays and musicals and continued to write. In college, I took a semester of screenwriting, I took a semester of playwriting, and then the summer before my senior year of college, I interned at a company called Accenture, which is a global consulting firm, really big name. They're on par with Deloitte and Touche and Ernst & Young, and had a fun summer interning there. And at the end of that summer, I was offered a full-time job. So this was even before going into my senior year. So they asked me where I wanted to work, what city I wanted to work in. And I said, Los Angeles. And I said, Los Angeles. And they said, great, that's where we'll send you after you graduate. So I went into my senior year already having a job. And as soon as I graduated, I moved to LA on Accenture's dime. And then I was on a salary. So I was making a shitload of money at the age of 20, pretty much. And the thing about consulting is you never have to work unless you're placed on a project. So basically that entire year that I worked there, I was only on a project for about 2 weeks. And I was the worst Accenture employee you could ever think of. And I just had all my phone calls go to my cell phone, never went into work. And in the meantime, what I was doing was meeting with agents. I was going to acting class. I was getting headshots. I was auditioning. And at the end of that year working for Accenture, I got laid off, which was also awesome because I got severance, I got unemployment, and for about 8 to 10 months, I believe. I was just like making money. And that's when I ramped up my auditioning, and about, I don't know, months later, I booked 3 national commercials in a row. So that's when my professional career started, I believe. And in the meantime, I was still writing scripts, still writing shorts, writing short stories, poems, songs, etc. And that's how I got into acting. But it was all part of the master plan of like, okay, I don't want to be a burden to my parents. I want to be able to support myself. What's the best way I can do that? Okay, let's take this job in this other field, which is kind of the perfect day job, to be honest. And then I moved out here and did it on my own.
How did you get word that you were being laid off?
What was hilarious was like I told you, I was a terrible employee. So it was a round of layoffs. A bunch of employees were getting laid off at the same time. And I was one of them. I came in, and the HR lady who I had become friends with, she was really sad and disappointed that she had to lay me off. And I was like, I'm good. Please don't waste your emotions on me. And it was a good day.
How many Plan Bs have you had while you've been here in Los Angeles?
I've had 0 Plan Bs. I've had the day jobs, which have been really fun. Actually, I think there was always a dream of me, even being an engineer. The dream that you see in TV and in the movies of an aspiring actor is they're working at a restaurant or they're working as a hostess somewhere. And that's what I did. And I had so much fun because I was finally surrounded by creative people, because everyone working in the restaurant business in Los Angeles generally tends to be an artist, and that is their day job. So I had a blast. I worked at a diner, I worked at a fancy steakhouse, and then I realized that I really loved hostessing, so I was working the front of desk at these places, and it was really fun. I was meeting all these people, working at really hot, trendy spots in LA, and making friends. And I never considered that a plan B. That was always just me making friends and making my home in Los Angeles, surrounded by the people that I finally wanted to be surrounded by.
Yeah, those can be fun jobs. I know they can be stressful though too, especially if you think that there's no time limit for them. I think they're romantic for a while, but there's also a trap of being in them too long. I think that can really weigh people down. How do you handle, or how did you at that time, well-meaning comments maybe from family and friends that were like, that's great, you know, we love that you're still pursuing, like you're dancing and acting, but you're gonna need something more stable, or you can't make real money from this, things like that?
Well, coming from an Indian immigrant family, you get those comments a little bit more maybe than usual. And I just handled it by, I'd be like, well, this is the money that I made on the commercial. And so I'll just like book another commercial and we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's not that easy. You don't just go out and book another commercial. But I was making steady progress. So it did something that my dad would say was, well, why don't you go to get a master's in acting? Or it's always about more education. And I was like, well, you know, I'm taking Upright Citizens Brigade classes and I'm taking really fun other drama type acting classes, and I'm taking sketch writing classes, and everything I write, like I get a little bit better. Every script I write is a little bit better than the one before. And so I just really had to explain to my parents, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm continuously studying. I'm continuously growing. And I don't necessarily need to go do a master's program somewhere.
So you showed them, like, here's a residual check, or here's whatever the buyout check that I got for this commercial, and maybe that quelled some of their anxiety about.
Yeah, I think it was more about, can you pay the rent? Can you pay for your food? Are you eating healthy? Are you out on the street somewhere? And so it was mostly about just having a stable life, as opposed to, I think their version of the Hollywood dream was more people living on the streets and doing shady things to succeed. And I was like, that's in your soap operas that you watch, but that's not real life Hollywood. There's just a lot of people who are working really hard to achieve their dreams and continuously growing in terms of their art. And that's what I want to do.